Welcome back to another edition of the Wrestling Aroundup. That's what we're calling it now. We're going to call it. Joining me today, as ever, is the very loyal, very reliable, very dependent Aaron Franklin. Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, Lew. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. I've just got kind of slightly annoyed at people who can't make plans, but other than that, yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating.
Yeah. So it is. But let's get right into it then. The Wrestling Roundup. There's only one thing that I guess we need to talk about. This week is another round of WWE releases. Some quite big names in there. Some less kind of well-known names, but still sad all the same, I guess. So the full list that got released on Thursday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nia Jax, Eva Marie, Maya Yim, Harry Smith, Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Lindsay Dorado, Grand Metalik, Jeet Rama, Katrina Cortez, Trey Baxter, Zayda Ramia, Jessica Mia, B-Fab, who signed a contract last week, Orny Lorcan, Amber Moon, Frankie Monet, Scarlett Bordeaux. Out of those, who would you say is the most surprising?
There's two for me. Keith Lee's probably the biggest one. Followed by Karrion.
Yeah, I think the Keith Lee is the most frustrating one for me. I think it's just I don't really know what's happened. Like he had such a good NXT. Well, he didn't have a great NXT run at first. I didn't really know what to do with him, and it almost looked like the main roster looked like they knew what to do even more. Like they had Survivor Series 2019 where he went toe to toe with Roman, nearly won. The thing at the Rumble with Brock Lesnar. Ooh, big boy! Like they're building this guy to be a fucking huge star. Finally gets to the main roster after his NXT run where he wins, becomes a dual champion, first person ever to do it, beats Randy Orton clean. Nothing since. Like what the fuck happened? Like I know he had COVID and he was off TV for a bit, but like surely that means you give him more of a chance, right?
Do you think Vince has dropped a bollock here?
Massively so. I know he's like 36, which I guess is old, but as the old classic goes in the show that we always talk about, Bobby Lashley's 45.
Yeah, he's still young.
He's still young in today's wrestling terms.
And he's one of the early big guys in wrestling who can move in the ring. Like you think, does Vince just like big guys who can't move and just literally powerhouses go in there and beat shit out of people? Because that's what it seems like to me.
I think
not interested in the big guys who can actually move in the ring and be athletic. And Keith Lee's a bit of the best of both worlds, isn't he? He's like the best of you've got the good beefy guy who can go in there and pack a punch. You've got a guy who can go in there and pull off the athletic moves and kind of keep up with some of the cruiserweights.
Yeah, that's it. I guess I saw someone compare him to Bam Bam on Twitter this week, which I thought was quite a good comparison of like in terms of what he can do in the ring for a lad his size, but also in terms of how Vince is going to look at him. And maybe if he was just going to be an upper mid-carder, but that's quite a good place to be after a while. But it just seems, I think what frustrates me the most is he's just been repackaged to the Bearcat Keith Lee, which
awful.
Apparently he said like wasn't his decision, but you just don't get a chance. It's like the Aleister Black thing earlier in the year. It's like you have all those vignettes, and then before he gets on TV, he's gone again. And it just seems like they're not given a chance, but it also just seems very random. Like, how can you get invested on anyone on the main roster when they could just be gone? It's not even people who are kind of not being used. Like, there's some people on that list like that we've not even seen for a while. Like Maya Yim, I know Keith Lee's wife actually, or fiance, I think. Not seen for a while. Lindsay Dorado, I think he asked for his release in the Grand Metalik. People like that we've not seen for a while. But then there's people like Keith Lee. He was on TV like 2 weeks ago, and then he's just kind of released. And it's like, well, how can you get invested in any new character if we're in the first month? The WWE is just going to think, you know what? Don't fancy this anymore. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
What frustrates me is we've gone a lot on the show about we've seen that match 20 times in the last year. We've seen that match 6 times in the last month. All they're doing is making the roster smaller, which means that you're going to be seeing the matches more than that.
Yeah, that's it. They've got 3 hours to fill on Raw. It's not easy to fill 3 hours. Like, you think you could put on a 10, 15 minute Keith Lee match against a different opponent every week, and that's like a good segment of the show. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to, because like normally, like I'm quite the WWE staunch WWE defender, or Edron as we're known on the Twitter these days, or the Vincels. That's just guys know, but it's just hard to defend sometimes. Like it really is. What do you say? You know, when you kind of like trust the process, give them time. They're not giving them time. They're not trusting the process. There's reports coming out that Keith Lee's had a bit of a bad attitude backstage and has not enjoyed jobbing to people, but I can think of worse people, like, you know, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, who've had a lot worse attitudes backstage back in the day and have become big stars. So I don't really see that as a potential issue with Keith, but yeah, it feels like they dropped the ball massively on Keith Lee. I don't know what the hell's happened, but it seemed like Vince really liked him at first, and he seemed like he was going to be a big deal, but yeah, just not given a chance.
It's a similar situation really for Carrion.
Yeah,
huge in NXT. Well, it's huge in Impact, massively huge. Came across to NXT. NXT was huge again. Went across to the main roster and just jobbed to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, and this is it. And this is like, there's people like me at the time going, trust the process. Like they'll be doing something. He'll get Scarlett back, and then he comes out in a fucking leather mask. And then you're like, okay, it's not good, but we'll see what happened. And I was still kind of hoping for like a shoot promo type thing, you know, like fucking Goldust when he was 7 in WCW, and he's like, I'm sick of this crap. Like, and I just, but no, he just carried on. And, you know, and then Vince apparently thinks he's not getting over. Well, no.
People aren't going to get over when they come out into the first match and just job.
Yeah, I'd say he had the cool entrance. He had the Scarlett as his manager. He was just completely different. You know, he had the singing entrance and all sorts, and it was really, really good. And he looked like tailor-made for main roster, because he didn't really feel like he ever fit properly in NXT.
Yeah.
At the time, NXT was kind of like indie-ific, wasn't it, a bit? Which is no bad thing, because it obviously produced some really great pay-per-views. But yeah, he just jobbed out to Jeff Hardy. I was kind of like, trust the process, but then they've done nothing with that.
Didn't lead anywhere.
They put him in his leather mask, and then they took him off TV for a bit, and now they've released him, which feels like a hell of a waste. But also, it feels like, what was the point in NXT if that's what they were doing? Hopefully, with NXT 2.0, these people kind of coming up, it's more like developmental in terms of they're kind of making people who do look for on the main roster, because it almost feels like Triple H had one idea of what wrestling should be. And he's gone, okay, I made these people really good. Here you go, Vince. They're over now. And Vince is like, actually, nah, I don't fancy that. Like,
yeah. It's just basically destroyed everything Triple H has done with all these wrestlers.
Yeah.
NXT is supposed to be developmental. It's developed them. It's made them into big stars. And then Vince just shits on them.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, after a while, like, how do you defend it? Like, how do you...
Can you? You can't.
There's no logical reason, or that I can see, like, for WWE kind of doing this. Really, like, it just
saving money. I think that's what it's coming down to.
Yeah, it's saving money, but like after a time, surely, unless they're just kind of planning on bringing people like Braun Breaker like immediately and just not paying them as much, like. Because I was looking at we're going to WWE Live tomorrow night or tonight as this comes out, and you know the card's like a good card. I'm looking forward to going back to the WWE event, but it's not the strongest card I've ever seen.
No. There's a couple of matches I'm really excited about. A couple of matches that, to be honest, I'll be going for a piss / going to the bar.
That's it. Like, and then it's like when you think of all the stars that just released, like I would be very, very excited to see, like, say, for a Keith Lee match, for instance. Like, obviously you've got the big matches like Charlotte versus Sasha. But then, yeah, you've got kind of stuff like Jeff Hardy versus Madcap Moss and Natalya versus Shayna Baszler. So it's like
then you've got
Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, but then you have got Cesaro versus Walter, which probably going to be my match of the night. Yeah. The one that I'm most excited about, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And the NXT triple threat match, actually. Tommaso, Sammy, and Braun. But yeah, it's just kind of, they don't feel like they've got loads of huge stars at the moment. And like, obviously, like, this is a SmackDown show with no Roman Reigns or Usos, and you can kind of tell, or the New Day, actually. So there's like a lot of top stars missing. There's no one else to really feel like they're replacing them at this point.
No. I mean, out of the releases, Lou, are there any in there that you're not surprised about?
There's none I'm not surprised at. Actually, Nia Jax, I'm surprised for different reasons. I just never thought they would let her go with her being The Rock's cousin. Eva Marie literally just got back like in August.
Yeah.
I guess they used it to get Doudrop over, and then that was it. Yeah, obviously, Ember Moon's another weird one who I thought like should have been a big, when the women's roster is severely lacking at the moment, and they're back to doing, we've got Sasha versus Charlotte on SmackDown now. That's going to be the feud. We've seen that before. Then we're going to go to Becky versus Charlotte for Survivor Series, and it's just, Bailey's out, so it's just the three horsewomen at the moment, just kind of swapping opponents.
It's we've spoken about earlier in this show. We've seen these matches 50 million times in the past.
Yeah.
Please bring some new talent in.
That's it. So people like Ember Moon, she went up to the main roster. Didn't really do a lot with her. She injured herself in 24/7 title chase of all things. And then she went back down to NXT, had a few good feuds in NXT, and they've released it. Like, obviously, yeah, she maybe doesn't fit the new NXT. We'll put her back up on the main roster. Did the same with Finn Balor. That seemed to work.
Yeah.
So why can't you do the same for like Ember Moon's a fantastic athlete? I think she's really, really good. I can't believe she's not had a main roster title, and I really can't.
She's one of the best female wrestlers out there. There's not that many. I could probably count them on two hands.
That's it, with the best finisher in the business, male or female.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the Eclipse. So that one was the big one outside the headliners of Keith Lee. I guess Keith Lee was on TV recently. Nia Jax.
I'm quite glad. I don't mean it in a nasty way because I don't wish job losses on anyone.
Yeah,
I'm quite glad she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't putting on the best matches, was she?
She's a dangerous worker.
Yeah,
it's only a matter of time before she broke someone's neck.
Yeah, that was frankly. It. She did come across as a bit thingy, and obviously, apparently, we should be calling Nia anti-vax. Get it? Because that's apparently one of the reasons behind some of these releases. According to numerous sources, I think it's on Fightful. The New York Post first.
She's trying to make it out as though it's because she's asked for a second mental health break, isn't she?
Yeah. It does seem a lot of these where like Vince is just at the end of his tether for right or wrong, possibly wrong in most of these, except for the anti-vax stuff. Like if you need it to kind of wrestle in New York, for instance, then you have to get it on you, really. And that's just kind of how it is. Or if you're traveling across the UK, for instance. But yeah, some of the stuff, it seems like Vince has just gone like, you hear about Keith Lee having attitude issues. Like, I don't necessarily think he has. He's probably like, really, Bearcat or something like that. Or do you want me to do this? Or carrying crossback, really? He's wearing this fucking leather mask. And like, is that an attitude issue? Or is that just kind of, isn't that what they want normally? Or what they've always wanted in the past?
I mean, it's an hard one as well, isn't it? Because you think, if this was 2 years ago, you'd be thinking, oh yeah, these guys, or even a year ago, these guys could go across to Impact, they could go across to AEW, they could go across to Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is now non-existent.
Yeah, Ring of Honor's
AEW's roster is jam-packed.
They surely can't take anyone. I mean, I would think like if Bray Wyatt's he's gonna land there, isn't he?
I think that's what's gonna happen, isn't it?
But you would think like I can't see Karrion Kross as a. I think he'll have to go back to Impact. I can't see him as an AEW guy.
100% he'll go back to Impact.
Keith Lee, I think will be in Impact. I mean AEW almost immediately. As soon as his non-competes up.
I think most of them have only got 30-day non-competes.
Yeah, because they're all on NXT contracts still, which kind of makes them. Yeah, and then Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik, I guess you're going to see in AAA or CMLL or something like that.
And JPW, I think that could work for him.
Well, that's the other thing as well, is that it's hard to get across to Japan, isn't it? I know they've got New Japan Strong filmed in America. But main roster, New Japan, it's going to be hard for some of them to get into. I guess at the moment.
I think Nia's just will end up going back to a plus model stuff.
Yeah, I can't see Nia Jax. She doesn't strike me as an AEW type at all.
I don't think they take her.
Impact, maybe. Can you see her popping up in like Shimmer or something like that? Because I just can't see it with Nia Jax. Like,
no.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with Nia. I don't know what Nia Jax is going to do. But I think she may be one who's kind of done wrestling for the most part.
Like I say, wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Yeah. No, I think she's not a popular wrestler. Let's be honest about it. Another one in there, Harry Smith, re-signed in July.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently at first for NXT UK, and then he wasn't use on NXT UK. They decided they would spend a lot of money on him. Let's use him for the main roster. And he didn't. That's the story of Harry Smith, unfortunately. I think he's had a few dark matches. They made a big deal of it. I remember because he was in a dark match before the first show in Houston, I think, before they had fans back for the first time.
Yeah.
And then, it didn't really go anywhere.
It's just, I don't know. It's a very weird world we're living in where WWE are releasing all these wrestlers. They've always in the past had a fairly strong roster. And it's almost like they're just giving away talent now to the other competitors, should we say?
That's it. Yeah, you would kind of think that
squeezing them in.
Yeah, you would think that almost like they don't. I mean, I know there's rumors at first, wasn't there? Of they were trying to overload AEW, so they went bust. But I don't think that's going to happen because AEW aren't a profit-making company, but they don't need to be because they're kind of backed by a billionaire. Yeah,
he's got more money than Vince McMahon. So.
Yeah, so it's like I don't think that's what they're doing. I think maybe it's true that they don't care about AEW in some ways, or they just think these people. I think their perception of AEW is, for right or wrongly, is that it's kind of more of a niche product than WWE. So these people like Keith Lee will be popular in AEW, but might not necessarily be popular in WWE. I don't necessarily believe that myself, but I think that's the mindset of WWE.
I mean, the way I look at AEW is for hardcore wrestling fans.
Yeah.
WWE is more of a casual product now.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, I think that's how WWE see it as well, to be honest. I don't think they kind of see themselves in the same league as AEW in that sense.
Yeah, obviously they're a much bigger company. And I think that's probably the reason why they don't see AEW as competition. Yeah,
because that's it as well. Like, and it's as much as we're kind of like, oh my god, Keith Lee carrying cross. Do you think the average viewer of Raw or SmackDown would care? Like a family sitting down to watch Fox on a Friday night, they might think, oh, where's that Keith Lee fella gone? But maybe don't care as much as kind of we do when it comes to these things.
It's hard, isn't it? Because SmackDown, if you tune into SmackDown, you tune in for Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You tune into Raw, you're tuning into.
Well, that's it. I think they've got Seth and Edge is taking time off again now, isn't he? But yeah, Becky Lynch, I guess, is their big star on Raw.
They just don't seem to have as many big stars anymore.
No, and I think it shows, doesn't it, in the ratings and stuff. So, you look at when they add John Cena onto cards and the ticket sales go up immediately. Even Roman Reigns, I'm the biggest fan. They tried doing that in Long Island, where they're kind of behind AEW on ticket sales at the moment, and it didn't really have that much of an effect until they announced the match. Weirdly, of him teaming with the Usos against, I think it's the New Day and Drew McIntyre, and that has shifted some tickets now, so they are getting there with that. But yeah, there's no big stars as they were certainly not at the Rock and Austin days these days.
No, but I mean, you look at AEW, and they've got all the big stars I'd stay, apart from Roman Reigns. They've got all the big stars, aren't they?
Yeah.
Problem is with AEW, they haven't got the TV backing. They haven't got enough airtime to let all these wrestlers debut or be on screen every week. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's it. And it almost feels like, AEW got a pay-per-view next week, and it feels like outside of Hangman versus Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, they've kind of thrown a pay-per-view together as well, which feels very out of character for AEW. It's almost like they've got too many stars now and they're not sure what they need to do with them.
Yeah.
Like the booked Eddie Kingston and CM Punk on the week's notice.
It gets to that point, though, because you've obviously got 100 superstars, wrestlers, whatever you want to call them. They all want to be on the pay-per-view. We can't let them all be on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it just feels like with AEW at the moment, like they signed CM Punk, and then 2 weeks later, it was all out, and then Adam Cole turned up, and then Bryan Danielson turned up, and it was almost like, you almost forgot about CM Punk for a bit. It just kind of had him in the background.
Yeah.
Up until this week.
It's tough. I mean, AEW probably needs another hour on Rampage.
Yeah.
Another hour on Dynamite, and probably a third show to make it work. That he probably need to use Rampage as the developmental side of it. Stop putting all your big stars on Rampage for me.
Yeah.
And make a second brand. Do a brand split.
I think they might need to do a brand split at some point. I guess at the moment Rampage is in a bad time slot, isn't it, on a Friday night?
Yeah, but if you use it for your developmental, you might actually get.
Yeah, because that's it. Like, I guess is it Dark Elevation now? No one's really watching.
No, well, the YouTube channels, aren't they?
Yeah,
YouTube shows.
Yeah, even when they put Brian Danielson versus Suzuki on the internet, didn't really. I think it didn't go over 100,000 viewers live. So yeah, it's just the WWE releases, strange one. Speaking of NXT call-ups, the dark match for SmackDown this week was Johnny Gargano versus Kyle O'Reilly. So interested to see what they do there. If they call up, apparently their contracts are both expiring at the end of the year. If you're them, do you sign? Do you resign for WWE? Or do you jump ship like Adam Cole?
Jump ship, wouldn't you?
Well, here's my thing, right? If it doesn't work out, it's not like they're going to languish there forever like they would like 2 or 3 years ago. If it doesn't work out, they'll probably get released anyway. So if I was them, and this is the same I felt about Adam Cole to an extent, I don't think Adam Cole would have lost anything by going to the main roster and then being released like in March next year or something, and he could have still gone to AEW and had the same impact.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can kind of see why he didn't. So it's kind of one where Adam Cole, I was very surprised that he didn't choose to go to the main roster, but in some ways I can see why they would not want to. But I just think you might want to give it a go. I don't know. It could work out. Like, Matt Riddle, something's going, he's doing well. So there are people like Finn Balor, obviously won the Universal Championship at his first pay-per-view and stuff. I know it's a long time ago now, but it happened 5 years ago. So I think there's still an argument for going to the main roster, in my humble opinion. But I can see why people would kind of back out of it. But also, as we're saying, AEW is getting pretty busy. Like, you could easily just get lost and shuffle in AEW as you can on the main roster. Difference is you'll stay in AEW.
Just trying to think. Okay, so there are a couple of bits of news this week, just before we kind of end the show.
Yep.
So we had Kalisto or Samurai Del Sol.
Oh, yes.
Debut on AEW.
Yeah. Tagged with Aerostar?
Yeah, against FTR. But I think the most talked about thing was the misspelling of Brodley's name on Twitter, which has caused a massive stir on Twitter. Apparently Chris Jericho's got some massive beef. A couple of other people have got huge beef.
Including Brodley's wife as well, which was the most surprising, I thought.
It's an easy mistake, isn't it?
It's an easy mistake to make. It could be autocorrect. I just don't see why you have to do it. Like, even if they genuinely thought that Kalisto or Samurai Del Sol was kind of, just trying to get clout chasing. I guess that's what they were kind of having a go at for him for. Just, it's going to look classless, isn't it? And I almost, you expect it from Jericho these days, because he doesn't seem like a great guy, if I'm being brutally honest, like these days. Like, there's just something about Jericho in the last couple of years where I'm like, I don't know if I like you, man. But then, for his wife, I thought it was disappointing. But I guess she knows her husband better than anyone. Maybe they had beef, and I don't know. It's difficult to say, isn't it?
Maybe, but I mean,
I don't think you would do it in public. I just think it looks classless.
Yeah, I mean, if I had £1 for every time someone spelled my name wrong over my 30 years of life, I would probably be a billionaire.
Yeah, and I regularly get called Mark for some reason. Frustrating. Just honestly, that happened in the last 5 years. Nearly got stuck in Slovakia because that's a different story for a different time.
And final bit of news: John Moxley is in rehab.
Yes, he is. Obviously, our well wishes to John Moxley. It seemed to come out of the blue, that one, didn't it? But I think it's been handled as best it could, given the circumstances. Yeah,
I mean, it probably it's come out of the blue for fans. A lot of his friends said that they could see the signs. I suppose a lot of that gets hidden on TV.
Yeah.
But I wish him all the best.
Yeah.
Especially he's got a young family.
Exactly, yeah, and they've just moved, haven't they? I follow Renee on Instagram. Yeah. I think they've just moved back to Ohio, where he's from originally. So, all the best. I thought CM Punk's promo on that was quite good.
Yes,
on Dynamite, where it's just like, if you need help, get it.
Yeah,
basically reach out.
I think that's about it for news this week.
Yeah, that was a nice line to end it on, wasn't it? News-wise. Yeah, so we'll call it a day for that, for the news. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, Aaron.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you for joining. Oh wait, no, it's not here again. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Oh, Aaron, no, we've got one more bit of news.
Oh, what's this?
We need to go through the Crown Jewels results.
Of course we do. How could we forget?
Bloody hell, we nearly signed off. I'll have to get them back. Hopefully, everyone's realised that there's 5 minutes left. I can't remember any of them. Right, what happened? The Big Boss McMahon defeated Arn Anderson to become the new henchman champion in the opening match.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved.
No one likes Arn Anderson. It's not a crowd favourite.
Another Vince with the title. Not since he got his gun out. And then there was an open challenge that the Big Bad Wolf. Oh, Samoa Joe as the Big Bad Wolf, an absolute banger. Came out of nowhere. And then obviously the Big Bad Wolf won, but it was a hefty match. And then what else happened? The tag team championships were on the line. The Vinsiders actually got defeated by the original head business, Business Horse and Business Pig. So they're the new tag team champions. What's going on there? What's
going to be the Big Bad Wolf's intentions now?
Yeah, what are his intentions? Is he going to go for gold now that his stalemates have got it? Still, no pun intended. Is they going to go for that? And then one of the Vinces, but I can't remember which one for the life of me, won the KFC Championship.
No, I can't remember.
McMontez Ford won it in a 4-way ladder match, so you can maybe see where I was going with that. But they've defeated Ramen Noodles. I'm sure there was more matches than this. I remember there wasn't. It was a short review. Oh, the big one, Terry Peters, who's not here today, but maybe that's because he's recovering from his big Hell in a Cell win over the Spooky Skank. The Spooky Skank is no more.
It was a shock.
It was a shock. He won with a head scissors through the Hell in a Cell, which I don't think anyone saw coming.
Spooky Skank may be dead.
Spooky Skank may be dead after that. He got head scissors right through the cell. So that was a big shock, and that was the semi-main event. And then the main event, the boyhood dream came true. The BMG, the Big Male Gorilla, defeated Snake Bin Pants to win the Wrestling Federation World Championship. And he brought back the original green belt.
What a match that was.
What a match. 5-star match. What were the Franklin Star ratings?
I can't remember. The final match was a 5-star, I do believe.
Classic. Yeah.
Or was it a 5.5? I think I might have gone 5.5.
Bloody hell, it was good.
So the first match, boss man match, was 2.5 stars.
Solid, man.
I've got the order that you went into with that match. And the tag team match was 3 stars. The Montez Ford was 4 stars. Any match with Ramen Noodles man's always solid 4.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't write them down for the first time ever, so I'm kind of just trying to remember.
Just trying to wing it.
Yeah, just winging it. That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I think it was a solid 8 out of 10 for the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's good pay-per-view, I thought. And obviously now we start the build to Snakeskin series. And like an exclusive reveal that it's going to be the Vince's It's Gone Too Far. It's going to be a 4-on-4 match for control of the Wrestling Federation. The Vince's and Team Wrestle Around. Who's going to be on Team Wrestle Around? We'll find out on Wednesday night when the qualifying matches happen.
Is this some sort of war games?
It's going to be a traditional Snakeskin series match. Elimination.
In a cage?
I don't know if we could do it in a cage, Aaron. I don't think the game will allow us to do that, unfortunately.
Well, 2K, if you're listening.
Next time, we want war games. We want war games for next time. You've had like 2.5 years on this game. And it's not like you've got to render any wrestlers because there's none left. So you may as well just put in war games.
Create a wrestler mode. It's going to be absolutely insane.
It's going to be absolutely hammered by me. So join us this Wednesday for the fallout of Crown Jewels. What do you think of the Crown Jewels set? I was very proud of it.
Was it Vinges all over the?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then there was a big penis as the Titantron.
It's brilliant.
Tell you before it was snowing, but what can you do?
I didn't know if it was obviously Vinges or if it was Randy Anderson had an accident with paint.
Well, that's what I heard, but it did look like it, and but some said it was unsubtle and there was too many penises references in there, but not for me.
Is Randy Anderson going to get the sack?
Well, I think he might have to because he's screwed up another set, hasn't he? He's still all over the place. We'll see what he comes up with the Snakeskin series. He's doing the decor again. So I've heard.
Last chance.
Snakeskin series coming up. But yeah, Terry thought it was just no legends. Right.
Strange.
So on that, we will finally wrap up. So thanks for joining, Aaron.
Thank you very much, Luke.
This Wednesday for Turning Point 2004. Who will be on the show? We don't know. And then join us Wednesday night as well, twitch.tv/Wrestling Around 7:30-ish for the Fallout. It's a crown jewel.